No. Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry. Well,
who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question.
Well,
he wants to answer other questions.
Well, Congressman, if the exporters they dislike tariffs so much, why wouldn't they? If I think what you're trying to get me to say.
Did you remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Reclaiming my time. People pay tariffs, right? Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time. You clearly aren't going to answer. I'm not going to waste my time having you go, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, I asked reclaiming my time.
Tariffs.
Mr. Chairman.
Every once in a while, a member of Congress cuts straight through the political fog, and that's exactly what happens when Mark Pocan steps in. No theatrics, no shouting, just one brutally simple question that this administration keeps dodging. And when he puts it directly to Trump's Treasury Secretary, the silence hits harder than any answer could. What you're about to see isn't routine oversight. It's the moment someone finally exposes the real cost of those tariffs pushed by Donald Trump. And once you feel that tension snap shut, you're not going anywhere.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Pocan, for 5 minutes.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being with us. My main concern is, I think, what people are looking at the economy. The first 100 days, lowest stock market since Richard Nixon, not usually a measure people are shooting for. On tariffs, the fact that last year we had an effective rate of about 2.5%. I think the Yale Budget Lab, and I believe you went to Yale, has said that effective rate is closer to 28%, the highest since 1901. I know that some of that's changed because the tariffs are on again, off again, some on again, some off again, somewhat chaotic. I believe as your term is what, Crazy Ivan style. I compare them to how a monkey throws dung. You're not exactly sure where they're going to land. And that's the concern I have as a small business owner, and I know Ms. Luzenkamp-Perez is as well. I've got small businesses really worried. You made a comment about while cargo volumes have dropped 60%, you see this as a temporary detox. But for a small business that's getting by day to day, that's much bigger. You talked about Main Street. We want to finally focus on Main Street, not Wall Street. I think you were at a global investor conference in Beverly Hills yesterday. That's the cocktail party where you mentioned the Crazy Ivan theory. And before that, you were at a JP Morgan Chase World Bank private investor summit. All those things are not Main Street, right? Main Street is an auto body repair, a specialty printer. So my concern is on the tariffs. Who pays tariffs, Mr. Secretary? No. Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry. Well,
who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question.
Well,
he wants to answer other questions.
Well, Congressman, if the exporters they dislike tariffs so much, why wouldn't they? If I think what you're trying to get me to say.
Did you remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Reclaiming my time. People pay tariffs, right? Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time. You clearly aren't going to answer. I'm not going to waste my time having you go, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, I asked reclaiming my time.
Tariffs.
Mr. Chairman. And I asked to reclaim my time. Did I not? No, I said reclaiming my time because he's clearly not answering it. So, yeah, so as a small business owner, and unfortunately I'd like that time back since you failed to recognize me for 30 seconds. So I just recently from one of my suppliers got the tariff surcharge on things. And in addition to the tariff surcharge, guess what else got raised? American-made walnut plaques. That has nothing to do with tariffs, but companies take advantage and do that. So right now, we are getting screwed right and left because of the indiscriminate use of tariffs. That's the reality for Main Street. And you go off to Beverly Hills for private investor conferences and talk about Crazy Ivan theories. Answer that. What is the Crazy Ivan theory of tariffs that you mentioned at the summit?
Well, first of all, sir, I've had meetings with more than 50 small lenders. So I want to clarify that. I would also say that in game theory, strategic uncertainty, of which you seem to like the name Crazy Ivan.
Well, it's your words, correct? Didn't you use Crazy Ivan at the?
Well, you've used it 5 times, and
That's the question, Mr. Chairman.
I am saying the strategic uncertainty is part of negotiations. Should we say,
Okay,
here's what we'll accept. Please take this.
Okay, I've got your answer. Thank you. I'm going to reclaim my time again. So for a small business, we don't have that luxury, right? When the ports are empty in California and we can't get goods and people are stocking up for Christmas goods, Crazy Ivan is great for, please don't take this offense, really rich people like you, but for people like me, it's not, right? That's what makes small businesses fail. That's what makes people lose their jobs. That's what makes the stock market tank. So I'll ask one more time, who pays tariffs?
Sir, the history would show that it is a complicated mix of who pays the tariffs over various times.
So that's exactly the problem. If your answer, and you are a very educated person, you have a very impressive bio, cannot answer the question who pays tariffs because you won't answer that, and you say it's a complicated issue, it's not complicated. Consumers pay Trump's tariff tax. That's the reality. And I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman, but I do think next time if I ask to yield back, I would appreciate having my time yield back.
Chair now recognizes the gentle lady from
Scott Bessent walks into this hearing carrying the confidence of someone who has spent years in elite financial circles, where theories are applauded and consequences are optional. But the moment Mark Pocan takes the microphone, the atmosphere shifts. Suddenly, this isn't a conversation about models, theories, or clever metaphors. It's a confrontation between lived reality and detached economic philosophy. What makes this exchange so gripping isn't just the tension. It's the collision between two different Americas, the America where Scott Bessent operates and the America that has to pay for the policies he supports. From the opening seconds, Pocan wastes no time. He lays out the cold numbers, the worst stock market performance in a presidential first 100 days since the days of Richard Nixon. Not because stock markets define everyone's life, but because they mirror something fundamental: confidence, stability, predictability, things the economy relies on, things tariffs tend to shatter. Then he goes straight into the heart of the issue: tariffs. These aren't abstract economic tools, they're taxes, they're price hikes. They're a financial weight that falls directly on people who often have the least cushion. Pocan brings up the effective tariff rate jumping from 2.5% to around 28%, the highest in more than a century. That statistic alone should shock anyone listening. But Pocan knows statistics don't hit as hard as lived experience. So he paints the real picture: a chaotic policy environment where tariffs are turned on and off, like someone flipping switches in a dark room, hoping to find the right direction. And then he drops the metaphor: a monkey throwing dung, unpredictable, messy, and impossible to prepare for. It isn't meant to be polite. It's meant to reflect what small businesses feel every day when policies shift without warning. Because unpredictability may be a tool for negotiation, but for everyday Americans, unpredictability is instability. What makes this exchange even more powerful is the contrast Pocan draws. Bessent keeps talking about Main Street, but Pocan exposes where he has actually been spending his time: private investor summits in Beverly Hills, JP Morgan events, World Bank investor gatherings. These aren't places where policy hits people. These are places where people talk about policy as if it were a chess game. Out there, tariffs are just moves on a board. But on Main Street, tariffs are a matter of survival. So Pocan asks the question everyone knows the answer to, but only some are brave enough to say clearly: who pays tariffs? It's one of the simplest, most fundamental economic truths. Yet Scott Bessent instantly shifts into avoidance mode. He fumbles, he stalls, he tries to move to other topics. He tries to buy time with abstractions that have nothing to do with the question being asked. But Pocan doesn't let him escape. Every time Bessent drifts away, Pocan drags him back with the now iconic refrain: reclaiming my time. It becomes a rhythm, a pulse, a reminder that clarity is a responsibility, not a choice. And here's the deeper layer viewers need to understand. When a high-ranking economic official refuses to answer a question this basic, it's not because he doesn't know the answer. It's because saying it out loud would reveal the true cost of the administration's policies. Tariffs sound strong, they sound tough, they sound like a way to punish foreign competitors. But economists across the political spectrum agree on one point. Consumers pay, businesses pay, workers pay, families pay. It's a tax on everyday life dressed up as strategy. So when Bessent retreats into phrases like, it's complicated, Pocan recognizes what's happening. It's not complexity, it's unwillingness. It's political self-preservation masquerading as intellectual nuance. Pocan exposes this with an example so grounded that anyone watching can feel it. He talks about receiving tariff surcharges from suppliers, real bills hitting real businesses. And then he reveals something many viewers may not realize. Whenever tariffs get imposed, companies often use that moment to raise prices even on items not directly affected. Economic chaos creates cover for opportunism. This is why Pocan's commentary on empty California ports matters. It's not just about imports, it's about the entire machinery of commerce grinding to a halt. When goods don't arrive, shelves stay empty. When shelves stay empty, businesses lose customers. When businesses lose customers, people lose jobs. This isn't theory, it's a chain reaction. And that brings us back to the phrase Bessent used. Crazy Ivan, a term from submarine warfare meant to describe sudden, unpredictable changes in direction. It might feel clever in a speech, but to someone running a small business, unpredictability isn't clever, it's devastating. You can't stock shelves on unpredictability, you can't plan payroll on unpredictability, you can't run an economy on randomness. That's why Pocan's final push matters. He forces Bessent to confront the one truth he keeps dodging. Consumers pay Trump's tariff tax. It's not complicated, it's not academic, and it's not hidden. It's visible every time someone shops, orders materials, buys equipment, or tries to keep their doors open in a volatile economy. What Pocan does in this exchange is more than expose evasion. He exposes how detached economic storytelling becomes when it's not grounded in the lives of people who actually live with the consequences. And by pressing the question, by refusing to let it go, he makes the cost of silence impossible to ignore. So as the hearing wraps, there's one thing viewers should walk away with. Tariffs aren't just numbers, they're choices, and the burden of those choices falls overwhelmingly on the people least equipped to absorb them. If you're watching this and you want more people to understand what's really happening behind the polished speeches and evasive answers, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. What moment hit you hardest? What questions should lawmakers press even harder? Your voice isn't just part of the conversation, it's the force that keeps it alive. More breakdowns are on the way. Stay locked in.